Today we are looking at classic film production techniques. In professional filmmaking, backdrops are often used to create the illusion of a much larger landscape than what exists in reality. When done properly, it can be a very effective method for fooling the mind of the viewer into believing that he is seeing something which he simply is not. As you can see for yourself in this example, a large backdrop is employed to create the illusion that the street extends well beyond the point at which it actually ends. So long as the cameras are positioned and directed in such a way as to keep the apparent background and foreground within frame, the two can appear to blend together. So much so that an unwitting viewer may not notice. Even though this is a well-known trick in film production, the use of backdrops can still fool the viewer if he otherwise believes that what he is seeing is real. The viewer might overlook the use of backdrops if he is engaged in a suspension of disbelief, say, if he is inside of a cinema for entertainment purposes and is knowingly switching off his critical faculties. Or he may overlook the technique if he is viewing footage which he has already accepted as being reality. Now that you know what you were looking for, let's take a look at two professionally produced films to see if you can spot the use of a backdrop. The first footage is from the 1939 film The Wizard of Oz, starring the gorgeous Judy Garland.
Won't you take me with you?
Why, of course I will.
Hooray! We're off to see a wizard.
Oh, well, you're not starting out very well.
Oh, I'll try. Really, I will.
To Oz?
To Oz.
We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. We hear he is a whiz of a whiz, if ever a whiz there was. If ever a whiz there was, the Wizard of Oz is one because of the wonderful things he does. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Did you spot the delineation between the foreground and the backdrop here? Skip back and take another look if you missed it the first time. Now let's move on to something slightly more difficult. This footage is from the 1972 film Apollo 17, starring Eugene Cernan and Harrison Schmitt. See if you can spot the delineation between the set and the backdrop.
And one big block there had very sharply defined parallel parting planes. I think there's a foliation of minerals that parallel that parting, but I'll have to check it out. Okay, copy that, sir. Those parting planes go over the will go through the whole boulder on the order of at least 3 meters long and outcrop.
Did you spot the delineation between the foreground and the backdrop? Skip back and take another look if you missed it the first time. As we know from the 1977 cult hit Capricorn 1, staging lunar scenes is relatively easy on even a small budget. The producers of Apollo 17 also utilized clever camera techniques to make the ruse harder to spot by employing poor video quality and low lighting. These and other tricks allowed the filmmakers to fool most viewers of this made-for-TV film into completely missing the obvious backdrop before their very eyes. Stanley Kubrick himself would be proud of their efforts. When comparing the two films side by side, we can see that in both productions, any viewer who knows what to look for will spot several discrepancies which give the ruse away. The most obvious is the difference in coloration between the backdrop and the foreground. In The Wizard of Oz, this makes the change from foreground to backdrop very obvious. In Apollo 17, the scene is shot in such a manner as to make it appear as though the backdrop is so far away that it must begin behind the foreground, as though the actor is standing on somewhat of a hill. Still, the difference is too obvious for the critical viewer to miss. The second major clue is the inability of the actors to walk beyond the foreground. In The Wizard of Oz, this is accommodated by the editors cutting away to the next scene as the characters approach the backdrop. Whereas in Apollo 17, the actor simply ceases his walk once he approaches the edge of the set. In both instances, the tricks may at first deceive, but only until the viewer engages their own critical faculties. Fortunately for the filmmakers, most viewers are quite happy to maintain their suspension of disbelief, whether for entertainment or to hold on to childhood fantasies about space exploration and the government being their friend. To finish, let's take a brief look at another cinematic technique employed by the producers of Apollo 17. First, we will see a brief clip from the 1971 classic film Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Then we will see another clip from the made-for-TV film Apollo 17. Share what you notice in the comments section below, and thank you for watching.
Hold on, everybody. Here it comes.
You did it, Mr. Wonka. Congratulations.
Get up, take a look.
Here I come. Come on in. Hats look good to you? Well, it's dirty. Yeah. Okay. Keep her down. Buttons. Ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector good. Roger, you have good thrust. 130 Houston, we're in the blind and we're...
Let's get out of here. Look, Emerald City is closer and prettier than ever. Out of the woods, you're out of the dark, you're out of the night. Step into the sun, step into the light. Keep straight ahead for the most glorious place on the face of the earth or the sky. Hold on to your breath, hold on to your heart, hold on to your hope. March up to the gate and bid it open.
Ignition. Right away, Houston.